There you
Second
go.
time to try. That was the longest 2-week break ever. I forgot how to use everything.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2021.
Yeah. So we did take a little bit of a break because we all felt like the brain break was necessary for a couple of weeks to let us get into the holiday groove, because it looked different than every year prior. So thank you for coming back to these live sessions again and bearing with us while we all took a little bit of break from it. But yeah, we're back again, and we're remembering how to use our tools.
Yes. And I did the same thing Monday for my live show.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So today we have with us a new to the team, new to the Remax world. This is Karina Lopez. Let's tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how long you've been with the company.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I've just been with Remax under 3 months, but I've been really, really excited to see everything, all the tools that you guys have available to you. And I'm on the product team, so I'm specifically handling campaigns and your agent website. So I love hearing all the feedback. I love getting to know everything that you have available. And I do have a real estate background. I've come from another brand, so I've worked with agents for quite a bit. So I love being able to see how you guys are specifically using the tools and what we can do to just make sure that they're meeting your needs as much as possible and helping you move your business along.
Excellent. And guys, I got to tell you, when I first met Karina a couple of months ago, she was a massive help in getting some things situated with, and we won't talk a ton about it here today, but like the multi-offices and getting that all sorted out, and answering some questions that I had about the more higher level design stuff. So just, Karina, thank you in advance for that, for all your help so far. And today I am super excited because you're going to tell us what's in store for right now, what are some of the new stuff that's coming up, what you're allowed to tell us. So I'm stoked. So without further ado, let's kind of talk about what's the first banner we have up? What's our first topic, Heather? What do we got? Let's see
what we have here. Tracking success.
Okay, this is a big one, and I feel like I wish we had sound effects in the video, like because the drum roll, because I know
I can make something.
I know that people have been asking for this for a while. So when we say tracking success, Karina, I'm going to let you drop the bomb on this one. What are we talking about on that?
So how can we make sure that everything you do is effective, and more so than effective, how can you track that it's effective, right? So you undoubtedly have really great plans to kick off the new year with lots of great marketing initiatives, and we want to do what we can to help you track the success of your efforts with analytics and maybe even details on ROI. So we're really excited to announce that we're working on 2 great ways. You've probably heard about them, but they're in the works, and one is very, very close to being done. The Facebook Pixel. Facebook Pixel will be enabled on your website very soon, and right after that, the integration with Google Analytics is also underway. So when I say soon, I mean like sometime this quarter for Facebook Pixel. So what that is, for those of you who haven't worked with it too much or haven't dabbled in the social media marketing just yet, Facebook Pixel is basically an analytics tool that allows you to measure the effectiveness of your ads by understanding the actions that people take on your website. So you can do things like make sure that your ads are shown to the right people. You can use the ads to find new customers, and then you can also measure the results of all the ads that you're doing with this integration on your booj website. So make sure that you're doing the best that you can to understand the impact of what you're doing, and also make sure that your investment is going in the right place. So whether you're an avid Facebook user or you're like one of your goals for 2021 is to make sure that you get into the Facebook advertising world, we want to make sure that you can take advantage of this really effective and efficient form of advertising. So this new release is going to be hugely helpful for you, and the best part about it, it's really easy to use. It's going to take just a couple of minutes to set it up. You do have to have a Facebook business account, of course, to do Facebook advertising, but once you have that set up, getting the pixel and adding it to your booj website to get that integration going is really, really simple, and we're of course going to have training available for you on that.
And I think a lot of people may understand Facebook Pixels as when you go to Amazon or go online to any website and you decide not to purchase something, or maybe you do, you go onto social and now all the ads are exactly what you just didn't buy. So, I mean, that to me is like the whole Facebook Pixels. They're just trying to get you back. And that's where the Facebook Pixel can be a huge benefit
Awesome.
to anybody's website.
Awesome. And then if we talk about how that would integrate with the other products that are out there, like Megaphone, and I don't know if you guys saw that Megaphone just had an update where you can automatically post to social, but definitely check that out. That's a totally different video, which I'm sure we'll have in a couple of weeks. But there's also the ability for you to create ads on Megaphone back to your website. And once Facebook pixels are out there, then you're going to stay top of mind with those people who are following you digitally and that you're running those ads for. That is a really, really big win. So I'm stoked. That's awesome. Karina. Yeah.
Really excited.
So cool.
So more to come on Facebook Pixel for sure, but make sure to listen in and stay tuned for that launch, for that release, and trainings going on about that. And again, whether you've used Facebook ads or not, this is going to be a really great tool for you, because we all know Facebook advertising is really effective and really efficient. A small investment can go a really long way.
And then the other thing that you said, and we kind of brushed over it really, but Google Analytics, man, we've been talking for the last year and a half about adding content and adding search pages and hyperlocal pages and all of this content to these websites to make them just gorgeous and impactful. But Google Analytics, that's coming next. Like, what's been the holdup with that? Has there been something on Google side?
Yeah, so what's exciting there is that Google Analytics and Google in general has made some changes to the way that the Google Analytics platform is used. So since they're making some updates, they are improving their platform, and we're staying really closely attuned to what they're doing to make sure that the integration provided works with their latest systems. So while we can launch Google Analytics now, it would only be available for those who have existing Google Analytics accounts. But we want to make sure that all of you that create accounts going forward and get started in this tracking game, let's say, have the ability to take advantage of this integration as well. So we need to spend a little bit more time making sure that the integration that we create is keeping up with the latest processes. So just making sure that we're always evolving, always getting you guys the latest and the best tools possible. So that's why we're spending a little bit more time on that one. But it's going to be good as well. It's going to do a lot to make sure that you're tracking everything that's going on your website, that you see your analytics, and that you're using those learnings to be smarter with future advertising and marketing efforts.
That's awesome. I know for me, I probably spend about $2,000 a month on our office website. So, you know, we did our booj website, but because of that, there's no way that I could, you know, completely move over to the booj, because I use my analytics to tweak every single month those ads. And, you know, I set up goals for myself, and I can see basically everywhere that they signed up. And so Google Analytics is huge I love running those reports every month and stuff like that. So that's, for me, that's absolutely huge. I mean, I love Pixel, but the Google Analytics, it tells me why people are bouncing off, what pages do they visit the most, what pages create the most. So, I mean, it's going to help you as you're building those sites. Some, you know, neighborhood pages may be better than others. And it's a matter of finding out what is sticky on your site, what makes people bounce out, because it's only going to give you room to improve on what the consumers really want.
And to spend money effectively. Like, who doesn't want to do that? So if we're spending money on ads, we want to make sure they're working. And are they going into the pages? Are they going into the and time, man? Like, we spend, Heather, like, I know how much time you spend building pages. So, that doesn't mean it takes long. Please don't take that comment to mean that it takes a long time to build pages. It does not. She just does a volume of pages, right? So, but if you spend time having a photographer take local photos and creating the searches and getting the content and the links to the restaurants and the shops and whatever else that's hyper local, and then you're going to push that out on social, you want to make sure that it's worth the time. So that's where Google Analytics is really going to come into play. And I'm really stoked to hear that that's coming, and that it's going to be compatible with the next version of Google Analytics as well. So we don't have to hit a roadblock later on. So thank you for that one. That's really cool.
We actually have something else that's going to tie in closely. So unlinked pages. There's also been the discussion about what do we do with pages that we want to have on our website, but we don't necessarily want to have on the navigation. I think, Tavia, that's how you and I first started talking, right? That was one of the first issues we had. So I just wanted to plug that too, because you're now going to have the ability to create pages, really content-rich pages, or even simple contact form pages on your website if you want, and not necessarily have them in the navigation. That combined with the Google Analytics is going to be pretty powerful, I think, because you're going to be able to create landing pages. Let's say you want to do a registration for an open house, or if you want to do a registration for a specific event, even a virtual open house, you can have that page published and accessible only through a marketing campaign, but not have people access it through a link on your website. Or you can link it on your website from one page to another page, but not have it clutter up your website navigation, which is going to be really great. And that's
That's
also
massive.
doing blogs and
yeah.
the same thing. Like, you know, once you got to like 15, there, it just, to me, it just clutters so much. So by having the ability to create thumbnails
Right.
on like one blog page that basically goes to an interior page I've created about the content, I like, to me, that just keeps it cleaner.
Yeah.
And right now, I think, you know, would just take it somewhere else, but the ability to be able to create those pages and that content on our website without it having, the navigation, like, I don't know. I'm just, when
It's huge.
too much, it's too much.
And it adds SEO value too. The more content you put on your site, and you don't want to, like you said, like I had, and the reason we started talking is because I had dozens of pages. You guys have seen that, like all of the hyper local pages we created for the office site. And I'm like, I don't need to have a navigation like this. And because of this, I'm able to say, okay, here's my county, and then bust out to all the different school districts and then the neighborhoods that are in that, and not have it be like in your face. Because sometimes, you know, web visitors, you have a couple of seconds to catch their attention. And if it looks like there's too much to pick from, it's too much to pick from. So I love having these hidden nav pages. They're really, really great. So really cool. All right. Keeping everybody engaged here. Next topic. So the next topic I think was, working together. I think I get this one a lot. Heather, do you get this one a lot about listing agents?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Karina?
I'm still a little confused on that. I mean, I can build the team website, but that's about as far as I know.
All right.
So we're going to be doing a lot of work this year on what's called permission setting. So it's going to be work throughout the year, but little by little, that's going to allow us to be able to do more and more, and allow you to be able to do more with your team, for example, your office to be able to do more with you specifically. So essentially what it is, and an example of one of the benefits of it, one of the features that's going to be made possible because of our work on permission settings, is the fact that, for example, a co-listing agent. Right now, co-listing agents aren't able to properly work together. So the lead agent has access to a listing in the listing manager. The co-listing agent doesn't have access to it. Therefore, they have to rely on the lead listing agent to make any changes, to access the reporting, the analytics, anything that's made available for that listing. Our work on permission settings, one of the first things we're going to be able to do is allow for co-listing agents to be able to have access to their listings in the listing manager, which is going to be huge. We want to make sure that when you're working on a listing, you can collaborate better. You can work on the listing as needed. We know sometimes the lead listing agent might be responsible for certain tasks and the co-listing agent might be responsible for other tasks. Sometimes you split up the work to be really efficient. We need to make sure that both of you or all of you have access to the listing in the listing manager to be able to get the information that quickly, easy, and even make changes or updates to the listing whenever you need to. And so if you're working on a team, we're going to make sure that, for example, if you add a contact to a listing, the team is going to be able to collaborate through that listing through booj. And if you're not on a team, you're just, working as a team for that specific listing, we're going to be able to protect you from sharing contacts if you don't want to on that transaction as well. So those are all the kinds of things that we're going to be able to do with permission settings. Down the line, we're going to be able to allow you to grant access and say, I want someone on my team member to be able to see X, Y, and Z on my account. That's further down the line, but that's all the work that we're getting started and everything that we're envisioning for this specific goal. We want to make sure that we can do everything that we can to allow you to be flexible and work in a team as efficiently as possible.
And somebody had asked about dates. I want to be really clear that building technology isn't as straightforward as like baking a pie. Like it is, you put in one line of code and it breaks 5 other things. And that's just how tech works. So I kind of I know it's frustrating. I get it. Like I want all of this stuff yesterday too. I do. But I also want it to work right. So we don't necessarily have dates on all of these things. And I'm really okay with that because I don't want to be, okay, it's going to go live and tell my agents okay, it's going to be live by the end of the month. And then it's not because some code broke somewhere down the line. So we don't have specific dates. And Karina, I promised you, I'm not going to push you for dates. First quarter is good. That's fine. As long as it comes out the first quarter soon. Well, and this isn't
it's not just the booj team because you're working with, Facebook, you're working with Google Analytics. So it's not just one, you have to make sure this, but you're working with all these other third parties to make sure that everything connects. And that's where it can be tricky because if it was just one person having to do it, sure, no problem. But because you're having to make sure it's going to work. And I've had many office sites where the agents all get their own sub sites they're not able to use their own Facebook pixel or Google Analytics. Like that's super hard on that top tier
Yep.
where Remax is like that top tier. So I knew, like, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be to allow all of this other
Totally.
stuff on the massive amount of sites. So I know, like, it's a huge deal, and I haven't seen it done on like that main level for all the agents. So I get it. I still want it, but I get it.
We've heard everyone. We know that it's important. And like we said, tracking is so, so important to marketing efforts. You need to know what's working, what's not, and not keep spending money in the same places that are inefficient. So we know it's important. Just the team is doing a really great job at making sure that we're testing everything properly and making sure that it works when we get it out to you as well as possible. But even then, once it's out, we're constantly going to keep evolving too. So it's not like we set it and forget it. We work on it and we keep moving forward.
Okay, then that's my plug right there for the ideas.remax.com. Like, definitely, if you have an idea, they are listening, gang. Like, they are looking at that and going, okay, this is a good idea. We hear you. They hear us through that. So definitely, if you have an idea, put it on there. And if you see an idea, if you're on there, put it on there and vote up other people's ideas too, to make sure that they hear that this particular thing is more important than others, and put in lots of details. Don't just say, I want it to be better. Well, what does that mean? Come on. Like, what do you, I want to have a block that has HTML code, or I want to be able to insert a wireframe, or whatever it is that you want to do. Let them know and be specific, and make sure that you don't duplicate other people's ideas. Vote up other people's ideas if they already exist. So definitely use that. And if you've got a great idea, go out to it and link it and share it in our groups, and we can help vote it up if we agree that it's a good idea. That's a great way, because, you know, day to day, we're not necessarily in there all the time. So let us know that you put an idea in there. We're happy to help vote it up if we agree that it's a good one. So
I thought about starting a thread where I think it's one of the pins where it has the ideas, you know, where to get the link. I thought maybe, you know, using a thread, or how do I organize that?
yeah.
We have a place to be able to put in our ideas and make sure that we can vote up. Because I think that I see a ton of duplicates. And it's like a shame, because one may have 80 votes, one may only have 15 or 20.
Well, they merge them too. I've seen others that have been merged. So they are merging the ones that are similar. So
we try to merge them as early as possible, so that when you upvote it, it goes towards both of them, or all the ones that are merged together. But yeah, it's helpful. If you're thinking of something, do a quick search, see if it's on there. If not, feel free to add it on there. And if we know that it's a duplicate, we'll merge it for you, no problem. The important thing is to make sure we get the information from you. We hear what's important. I mean, just on Facebook Pixel and Google Analytics, we were talking about it and saying, okay, what's the breakdown? How many people who have asked for integration? How many people asked for Facebook? How many people asked for Google Analytics? 60% of those asking for analytics were Google Analytics. 40% were Facebook. So we were really excited to see that. It was a good amount. We know that there was a bigger emphasis on Google Analytics, which is why we said, let's take more time. Let's make sure that this is working really, really well, because a lot of people are waiting for this. And we know that you have to wait a little bit longer, or, you know, we're getting Facebook out first, but we're doing it because we want to invest more time to make sure that we're getting you guys what you're expecting.
Good. Thank you. And then the other thing I want to make sure that it doesn't get brushed over, but teams. Mm-hmm. So team leaders and the impersonation part of it that we're working on for administrators like myself and offices to be able to work on behalf of the agents, that is coming. And especially for teams to be able, I know, like, we have a half a dozen or more teams in our office, and every single one of them functions differently. Like, there's no cookie cutter, this is how the team operates. There's husband and wife teams, there's rainmaker teams, there's teams who everybody kind of plays their own game, but they market together. So you have the ability with this working together thing to be able to say, this is how our team works. And I love that part of it too, to be able to really get down to a micro level and say, this is how we're going to make this system work well for us. And that's, I think, a consistent thing throughout all of the tech so far. So really cool on that one. All right, moving on to the next thing. Go ahead, put it up. I know, I'm so excited. All right, lady, go ahead.
Big update when it comes to campaigns. We are doing lots of work on campaigns, but our number one priority is drip campaigns. We know that this is something that you guys have been waiting for. We know that this is something that would be really, really helpful to your business, because we know you don't want to spend a lot of time behind a computer writing emails or sending out emails. Yeah. You want more automation. You need more automation. You need to make sure that you can log in, get what you need to get done, and maybe set a campaign for the next several months, next several weeks, whatever it is that you need. Drip is coming very, very soon. We've actually started doing beta testing. Some of you, I don't know if you're on this call right now, if you've been part of that beta group, but we've got amazing feedback. Yep, we've gotten some amazing feedback from you. And what we've heard is just validated exactly what we're trying to build into the system. We need to make it as simple and automated for you as possible. And in order to do that, what we realize is we want to add a lot of content in there. And that's what we're working on right now. We're loading the system. We're not just creating the ability for you to create a drip campaign custom from scratch with all the information and the timing that you want, but we're loading it with templates that all you have to do is select the one that's appropriate for your contact type and just hit send. And you have several weeks, maybe even months worth of touch points that you have for that specific contact. So we're working on that. And the best part about it, what we're also working on is a content library, which will allow us to add fresh content to the system every so often. So again, we're going to create it. We're going to give you a good amount of templates in there. And then a few months later, we're going to add even more. We want to make sure that you're constantly going, that there's just always something fresh for you to access, that it's not just, drip, we created it, work off of it, and we're moving on to the next thing. No, drip is going to be a big focus for us because we know you guys are very excited about it. And it's a key part of your business. You need to make sure that you're constantly touching the right people at the right time.
I love it. And yes, I was part of the campaigns beta, and gang, like I looked at the screens. I was just mentally trying to figure out how many different systems I've used with campaigns, and some of them, the older ones, like it's not intuitive and it's hard to figure out how do I create a campaign that is day 1, day 5, day 7, like those are the drip campaigns, those automatic follow-up campaigns. But this system, it was so clean and easy to look at and intuitive. Like I didn't have to think hard about where to go next to put the next part in the campaign. It was so clean and simple and looks a lot like what you're already used to with the booj platform. So those, if it stays the same, I mean, things change when they go from beta until it gets launched, but wow, like it's just clean and simple. So I'm really stoked for this to come out. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I know a lot of us have. So lots of content out of the gate. That's great. And it really is a very clean, very organized, very simple, straightforward, Apple-esque, easy to use system for campaigns. So, and I, again, it's been a little while, and that coming soon thing is like, oh, when? But so coming soon, I know you can't give us.
And she said very, very. So
I heard it. So
I didn't know if that's like a first quarter.
Yeah.
Because I think they originally were, when they had times, it was kind of like Q4, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely around first quarter. And the reason why we're spending time on it now, a little bit more time, is because we are adding in more content. In the beta, that was the #1 feedback that we heard. And we said, let's add in more. Let's get more things in there. Let's add more templates in there. And let's get ready for more. The getting ready was that content library. So just loading it with what we have now, let's create a mechanism in the system that allows us to keep adding in there every so often so that you can always have something that you can access. Whether you're ready to use drip now or 6 months from now, what you see now will hopefully be different from what you see in 6 months. There's going to be even new templates, new emails in there for you to be able to access.
That's awesome.
So someone commented and kind of has a good topic. So every year at R4, there's always, the latest and greatest big announcements. So I didn't know if you could have any teasers, or if you think these will be done by then for that announcement, whether virtually or in person. And that would kind of be
great.
Q1, right? End of March.
Yeah. I think drip is going to be one that we definitely want to show off by R4. We definitely want to show off.
It would not be good if it wasn't done.
I agree.
That's great. Okay, well, I think to get us kind of eased back in, it's been about half an hour, which is, I mean, my attention span has kind of lapsed. I'm like, okay, half an hour, we're good. It's our first one, we're back in. We're not going to go a full hour. We covered working together with teams. We covered tracking Google Analytics and Facebook, and we covered the campaigns are coming out. So questions, and we see one now. Can we use the Remax content wherever we want? Blog, newsletter, etc.
Yeah,
I personally use like the graphic and a teaser, and I link it to Remax. Like I don't want to take someone's content from their site. That's not good. Google doesn't like that. It's someone else's content. So I do, like for my newsletters, for my teaser blog page that I keep organized, I'll use like my own little graphic I'll use the headline, a little teaser to it, and then I link it to Remax. So that's my workaround on that. I don't know if anyone has another suggestion. I don't want to copy an entire blog.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because you always want to be careful to get content that everybody has on their website, but use pieces of it. Use whatever you think is great. Quote it, maybe link it, whatever you think, but it's definitely free for you to use however you would like, whether it's a social media post and say, hey, sign up for my newsletter. I talk about this topic, and then you send them that drip campaign, whatever you think is best, but you're free to use the content of how you'd like, and we'll definitely share some best practices on it and things like that, but that's a great idea, Heather.
I get that question all the time, so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have the time and if you want to write, like I love the idea of taking the quotes and saying, this is a really good article, here's why I think it's a good article, and then link back to it too.
Yeah,
Like
right.
if you have the time to write a little synopsis of it too, that would be great.
Because I think that makes it more authentic on why it touches you, and it's still a great article. But to me, that's like the teaser part of it is just being authentic on why you like it.
Yeah.
I mean, versus just using the headline, posting it, you're done. Like,
yeah, that's how people connect to you because of what your opinion and your perspective is on everything. They value what your opinion
100%.
is.
100% cool. Well, thank you for taking the time with us today, Karina. Really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me. I hope I can connect with as many of you as possible. I'm in the group, so feel free to message me. I'm really excited to start working with you. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tavia.
Thank you guys so much. I can't wait for 2021 and everything coming down the pipeline. That's for sure.
Excellent. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
New Year.
Thank you.